Is ThatSuiteMoney.ca a scam or is it real? If you've ever seen That Sweet Money campaign, it does seem too good to be true. Just sign up and get $250. The style of the advert reminds us of the old Canadian House Hippo campaign that tells Canadians just that because something looks real, that it doesn't mean that it is. And it also brings to mind what everybody's mom said, which is if it's too good to be true, it likely is. So is That Sweet Money legit? After reading, well, okay, we skimmed pretty hard the judgments, and after interviewing Naomi Kovac of CFM Lawyers, we can say that yes, That Sweet Money is legitimate. They have more than $500 million, and yes, that's $500 million to disperse to Canadians. Why does Microsoft owe you money? Well, we checked it out by reading some of the judgments, including the Pro-Sys Consultants versus Microsoft judgment, and contacted some of the law firms involved. Put simply, the idea is that Microsoft illegally used its market power to overcharge consumers and corporations for its Microsoft Office suite of products and Windows operating system between 1998 and 2010. It's not a problem anymore. This is the old Microsoft. What is a class action lawsuit, you might ask, if you're, not into this? Well, it's obvious that it would be just too hard for an individual to be successful to sue a major corporation like Microsoft. But because there are so many consumers and corporations involved, the lawyers went through something called a class action. In this case, a judge certifies the category or class of consumers, and then after the trial, the judgment is to the benefit of that class rather than the single person or single company. You're in that class in this case. Often a class includes hundreds or thousands, or in this case, millions of unnamed plaintiffs, like again you and me. If the action is successful, many penalties can be applied to the defendant, but one of those is often money, a lot of money. Why is That Sweet Money so cheesy? This is what the prosecuting lawyer told us. We have this challenging job of convincing people that they need to put some paperwork in, and we're going to send them a check. We work with different agencies to advertise, always under the supervision of the court. We developed this campaign with an agency out of Montreal called Ogilvy. You want to get people's attention. It is intended to be a bit of tongue-in-cheek and hark back to the area of those cheesy infomercials from the 90s. She went on to say, we're dealing with the problem that a lot of class action lawsuits have. It seems a bit too good to be true to fill in a bit of information into a website and you're going to get some money. We're trying to strike a balance between getting people's attention, dealing with those concerns, and motivating people to act. And that gets us to actually making a claim. So the question comes up of, do I need receipts to make a claim? In a word, no. Ms. Kovac told us, the judge noted in one of his decisions that almost any computer purchaser in Canada that wasn't an Apple user during that time period was eligible. That time period, by the way, is 1998 to 2008. She went on to say, we have tried to make the process as simple as possible, but we have to protect the legitimacy of the process. We're not asking people for receipts from the 1990s because they won't have them. But we are asking them to swear that at least to the best of their belief, I bought this computer in 1999 and it had these things on it. That being said, we were told that there are fraud detection measures in place. For instance, there is no age limits on who can apply, and the forms do not ask you for your birth date. But if you're one of the people that's randomly audited, and it turns out that you were 8 months old in 2005 when you say you bought a computer, well, that's going to get declined, and you are going to be subject to a penalty from the court for perjury. Another question that comes up is, if you sign up, do you just get $250? Well, probably not. Unless you have receipts, you're eligible to claim up to $250. Each product has a value, and it boils down to operating systems are $13, and Office products, the Office suite, which is what almost everybody bought, is $8. If you bought things on their own, they're about $6.50 each. So if you bought Word or Excel or PowerPoint separately, but very few people did that in the 2000s anyway. Most people bought the suite. So that's $21 on most computers. So let's say you bought 4 computers in that time period. That means you're going to get $94. That's almost $100. If you have receipts that can prove that you bought more than $250, I mean, say you've made a whole pile of, you bought a whole pile of computers for whatever reason, well, then you can claim more than the $250. Part of the fraud detection process is seeing that people do not actually claim $250. Ms. Kovac told us people defrauding the process would be maxing out their claim every time. We'd see them all over the place, right? But she said they're not seeing that. They're seeing averages much lower than the maximum. That gets to, claims that are going to be more than $250, like from companies. So yes, companies can claim, and it's even easier for them because most companies buy their licenses through volume licenses, select, open, EAs, enterprise agreements. Those purchases are well documented. Ms. Kovac said, we have the data from Microsoft about who purchased and how much they purchased. All they have to do to receive their funds is to start the claim and authorize the claims administrator to do the rest of the work. You still have to go to ThatSuiteMoney.ca website, and the first question you're going to get asked is it a personal or corporate claim? Corporate claims are paid through vouchers for Microsoft software, like Office 365. Those vouchers are also transferable up to 2 times. If your company was sold to a different company, that new company is the one that probably wants the vouchers. We asked about a secondary market. For instance, if your company's gone out of business, well, software vouchers aren't very useful. The vouchers, she said, can be transferred to whoever you want. Potentially there's a secondary market, or you can donate them. You can do with them whatever you want. You don't have to redeem them yourself. And that gets down to actually filling out the form. We have a separate video, which we're going to put in the top right-hand corner. You can click on it right now if you want to see how to fill out the form. It's pretty easy. We did ours with 20 items in about, maybe less than 10 minutes. And it was very simple and straightforward. Again, no paperwork required, just your memory. Now, after you've filled out that, you're going to be wondering, when do you get paid? Well, the claims process is open until September 23rd, 2021. After that date, the claims administrators will complete a vast amount of paperwork for the courts and for Microsoft, and then they'll start sending out checks. So it's expected that you'll start receiving your payments in 2022, early in 2022. And that then leads to what happens with the unclaimed money. The settlement covers the lawyer's fees and the payouts, but the plaintiff, in this case Microsoft, has to cover all of the additional expenses, like for those of the claims administrator. As such, the settlement funds do not get nickeled and dimed down to nothing over time. There are also people that don't cash their checks. Maybe they've died, maybe they got lost in the mail, maybe they just lost them, who knows? All this means is that it's very unlikely that the total of over $500 million will actually be dispersed to claimants. So what happens to the rest of that money? Well, Ms. Kovac told us there's a formula in the settlement agreement where roughly half of the money that is left gets rolled into a school voucher program. Microsoft is pretty excited about this part of the program. We're going to go to schools from kindergarten to post-secondary, trying to identify where there is a need. The money that is claimed but not cashed goes to the school voucher program. The money that is unclaimed gets split under a formula between the school vouchers, and some of it does go back to Microsoft. What about people that live in other countries or citizens of other countries living in Canada? Well, if you're a citizen of another country but live in Canada, and did live in Canada during that time and bought a computer here, you're eligible. You do not need to be a citizen. You simply need to be living here in 2016, and you need to have purchased a computer in Canada running this Microsoft software anytime between 1998 and 2010, and there's specific dates. People in other countries, well, say you're in the US, UK, Britain, Australia, wherever, we are aware that there are similar lawsuits, but we don't have much detail on them. So you're going to have to look that up yourself. This particular settlement is for Canadians. If you like this video, please click like below. It really helps us with the Google algorithm. And if you like this type of thing, and you can see here that we spend a lot of time talking about Windows 10 issues. We do a lot of how-tos on how to solve everything from the start button problems to printer issues to whatever else, all the way through to really hardcore things like Microsoft Azure. We also do a huge amount on Android cell phones. So if you like that kind of thing, please click subscribe below. If you have any questions or concerns, just put them in the comments below. We'll respond. Also, you can always get a hold of us at www.urtech.ca. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.